Boker Tov, Ryan Mordechai. Boker Tov to all of our participants. Thank you very much for joining us this special edition of Kabbalah Café. I want to thank very much Gershom and Rachel Dandy for sponsoring this special Kabbalah Café in honor of the Refuah Shlema of our dear friend Jay Schechter, Yoshua Mordechai Ben Fega. You should have an immediate recovery, Refuah Shlema, and you should have great spirits and Bezrat Hashem to join us hopefully over here at Chabad of Rechavia. Of course, thank you to Raya and Mordechai for hosting this Kabbalah Café, just as all of our shiurim. Tonight is going to be Shabbat, and it's also Shvii Pesach, the 7th day of Pesach. In Eretz Yisrael, it's the final day of Pesach tomorrow, and Pesach will end tomorrow evening. And it's also considered Acharon Shel Pesach, the final day of Pesach. In Chutz La'aretz, in the diaspora, today, of course, Shabbos is the 7th day of Pesach, but the final and 8th day of Pesach is on Sunday. And over there, they finish the Chag of Pesach on Sunday night. The day of Acharon Shel Pesach, the final day of Pesach, is a special day which is connected with the coming of Mashiach. The Baal Shem Tov said that on this day there is a special glow, a special ray, a shine of Mashiach, and it's a very auspicious day to bring Mashiach. So therefore we get together, and the Baal Shem Tov instituted to have a special meal, a special Seudah, which is called Seudat Mashiach, the meal of Mashiach. And during that meal, especially, we strengthen ourselves, strengthen each other, sing songs about Mashiach, encourage everyone to strengthen our emunah, our faith in Hashem, that Mashiach will come immediately, if not sooner. So over here in Eretz Yisrael, we're going to celebrate this meal tomorrow afternoon, Shabbos afternoon, and in Chutz La'aretz, they will celebrate this meal on Sunday afternoon. If you're here in Yerushalayim, you're more than welcome to join us on tomorrow afternoon for Mincha, an early Mincha at 5 o'clock, right outside Chabad of Rechavia. And then 5:30 will be, Bezrat Hashem, the Seudat Mashiach, the Mashiach meal. This celebration of Shvii Shel Pesach, the 7th day of Pesach, is the day when Am Yisrael crossed the Yamsuf, the Sea of Reeds. And that was obviously an amazing miracle. The sea dried up in the middle, and Am Yisrael walked through and came up at the other side. So in Chutz La'aretz, they celebrate these two, they mark these two special occasions on 2 different days. On the 7th day, that was the day when Am Yisrael crossed the Yamsuf. And on the 8th day, they celebrate the upcoming redemption of Mashiach Tzidkenu. The fact that in Eretz Yisrael, we celebrate these two things on the same day, both the Kriyatyamsuf and also Acharon Shel Pesach, it's the same day, because in Eretz Yisrael, Pesach is only 7 days. That indicates that there is something very unique, and we can connect both concepts of the Kriyatyamsuf and also the coming of Mashiach within the same day. In other words, there is something which connects both of these ideas. So let's start with the Kriyatyamsuf. What happened at Kriyatyamsuf? Am Yisrael was running away from Paro and the Egyptian army, and Hashem opened up the Yamsuf. It became dry. The sea split. Each wall was water, almost as if it was ice. It was not ice, but it was water that did not cave in. It just stood tall, as if it was a stone wall, and then right after the last one of Am Yisrael finished going out, then the walls caved in, and the Egyptians went right into the Yamsuf. So the idea of sea, that the concept of sea and dry land are as follows. On dry land, we have lots of interesting things. We have people, we have animals, we have food, we have trees, we have buildings, we have all kinds of structures, all kinds of stuff. How about under the sea? Inside the sea? We don't really know, because who knows what's down there? But what we do know is that our sages tell us, and the scientists amongst us can probably confirm this and affirm this, that kol ma sheyesh bayabasha yesh bayam. Whatever we have in the dry land, there's also in the sea. So we must say that you have all kinds of animals. I think it's called sea lions and all different animals. And you have trees and things that grow and those structures. They're a little different than the way they are on land, but it's almost like the same concept. If we're doing now Kabbalah Café, so let's translate this into the text, into the terminology of Kabbalah. In Kabbalah, we have two concepts. One is called Alma Deit Kasya, the concealed world, or plural, the concealed worlds. And then you have Alma Deit Galia, the revealed worlds. So the revealed worlds, at least the world that we find ourselves in right now, is quite obvious what it is. We see what's happening around us, and more or less we understand what's going on. But then you have the Alma Deit Kasya, the concealed worlds. Those are the worlds that they tell us about in Chassidus, in Kabbalah, about the higher worlds, Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, Asiyah. Then you have Keter, and the many, many infinite worlds that Hashem has created that we don't begin to understand the greatness and the awesomeness of these worlds. But we know that they exist. Alma Deit Kasya. So if by Kriyatyamsuf, Hashem, quote unquote, split the sea, so we have the hidden worlds and the revealed worlds. So when Hashem split the sea, you have the sea, which is basically like the concealed worlds, and what's down there, we don't really know, unless Hashem opens it up. Then all of a sudden we have revealed what was down there before the sea opened up. So that's Alma Deit Kasya, as far as we're concerned. Then we have the revealed worlds, what we see around us. So Hashem revealed to us not only the physical sea, so that we can see inside what there is beneath the surface of the water, rather also on a spiritual level. Hashem opened up all of the secrets of the concealed worlds and revealed it to us. That's why it says that even a child that was when in his mother's womb at the time of Kriyatyamsuf was able to see more elokut, more prophecy, more godliness, even than the prophet Yechezkel. Because it wasn't only technically splitting the sea. Moreover, it was on a deeper level, it was also revealing a most elated, usually remote, level of elokut, of godliness, and all of a sudden it was revealed to us. All of a sudden we were able to see it on some level, come to terms with it, and appreciate it. So that is the concept, in short, of Shvii Pesach. Now, what is the idea of Mashiach? In the last 2 chapters of the Rambam talks about Mashiach. How do we know who Mashiach is? What is going to be in the Messianic era? And right at the end, the last words of the entire 14 volumes set of the Yad HaChazakah of the Rambam, he quotes a verse. And this verse pretty much sums up what is the coming of Mashiach, and also helps us connect this idea to Shvii Pesach. The pasuk says as follows. I believe it's even quoted in the Haftorah in Chutz La'aretz on the 8th day of Pesach. Umal'a ha'aretz de'at Hashem kamayim layam mechasen. And the land will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem, as the water covers the seabed. These are 2 levels of knowledge of godliness, of Hashem. The first half of the verse, Umal ha'aretz, the knowledge of Hashem will fill the land. That's a level of Alma De'Idgalia, of the revealed world. You have things that we see, so Hashem will reveal to us sort of on our level, just like we can see the world around us. So too, Hashem will reveal to us godliness. But that godliness is still, on some level, related to our way of understanding and our boundaries, our limitations. It's great, but not yet the ultimate. What's the ultimate? Kamayim layam mechasen. Just as the water covers the seabed. That's how much knowledge of Hashem is going to be so in abundance that just like the water, there's no ounce within the sea that doesn't have water. So too, the knowledge of Hashem will be overflowing, overwhelming the entire world. And that's, for example, like the whole concept of a fish. You know, there's a famous story of Rabbi Akiva. When the Romans forbid, or I think the word is forbade, Am Yisrael from learning Torah. So Rabbi Akiva said, no one's going to stop me from teaching Torah. And he kept on teaching Torah. And at the end, unfortunately, the Romans caught him teaching Torah. And unfortunately, the end is known. Rabbi Akiva was one of the 10 great tzaddikim who were killed by the evil emperor. And so Pappos was one of Rabbi Akiva's students. And Pappos said to Rabbi Akiva, Rebbe, why are you teaching Torah? Don't you know that are going to catch you and they're going to kill you? We need you, Rebbe. So Rabbi Akiva gave him the famous metaphor of the following: that the fox came to the seashore and saw that the fish were swimming quickly back and forth. So he asked the fish, why are you swimming so quickly back and forth? So the fish said, can't you see the fishermen? That the fishermen are trying to catch us? When we swim so quickly, then they can't put their nets out fast enough. So the fox said, I have a smart idea. Why didn't you come with me onto land? And I will protect you that the fishermen will not be able to catch you. So the fish said, Fox, you're such a fool. How can they say you're the wisest animal? It's obvious that a fish in water is considered alive. There's a chance, at least, that we'll make it. But if the fish go onto the land, within a short amount of time, they will not be able to survive. So Rabbi Akiva said, a Jew with Torah is like a fish in water. You cannot, excuse me, you cannot separate a fish from water. You cannot separate a Jew from learning Torah. Torah is kihem chayenu. Torah is our life. And therefore, there is no way to separate us from the Holy Torah. Excuse me. If you think about it, the connection between fish and water is even more. It's not just that the fish, technically speaking, needs to be in water in order to survive. According to halacha, the fish is considered water. The fish, if someone needs to be in contact with water, so if there's something foreign in the water, according to halacha, and you're touching it, then that's basically, it's a chatzitza. It's separating between you and the water. But if someone touches the fish, then there's no chatzitza. It's as if you're touching the water itself. It's so part and parcel with the water in which it finds itself, that it's considered halachically part of the water, part of the body of water in which it is. Excuse me, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. Thank you. So what do we see over here? We see a greater comparison between a Jew and Torah. We are part and parcel with the Torah. So that strengthens even more what Rabbi Akiva said. That there's no scenario where a Jew can be without Torah. We always have to have Torah. And that's actually the mitzvah of learning Torah. We have to learn Torah all day. We have to learn Torah in the morning, in the evening. And if a person has to go to work, that's fine. You got to eat, that's fine. You got to sleep, it's okay. But if there's a spare minute, then that spare moment has to be utilized for learning Torah. That is the main purpose of a Jew, is to learn Torah. And therefore, Bezrat Hashem, in the very near future, we're starting a kollel, which will be for learning Torah. And the schedule will be coming out very, very soon. And we look forward to adding shiurim in learning Torah. Baruch Hashem, Hashem has given us the zechut to be able to add such a great addition to our community and to the world through our YouTube channel, and that is the concept of learning Torah. So that's one of the main things that's going to be when Mashiach comes. First of all, it's going to be kamayim layam achasim, just like an outpour, overwhelming the water inside the sea. So too the knowledge of Hashem is going to be overwhelming for us. And it's basically going to be, second of all, like as if Hashem is opening the sea for us, the sea of knowledge, and giving us an opportunity to be able to see and to relate to the knowledge of Hashem on a much, much greater, on a much deeper level. So now what we have in summary is the connection between Shvii Pesach, Kriyatyamsuf, and the day of Mashiach, the Mashiach meal, Seudat Mashiach. That for us in Eretz Yisrael, it's clear how these two concepts are really one. On the one hand, we have the idea of the splitting of the Yamsuf, the revelation of that which is beneath the water, the opening of the water so we could see what's down there, and therefore Am Yisrael could travel through. On the other hand, we have the message of Mashiach, that's exactly what Mashiach is. The teachings of Mashiach, it's called Torah Shel Mashiach, is going to be so powerful that we're going to be totally immersed into the learning, into the teachings of Mashiach, which is going to be revealing the most mystical angle, the most mystical interpretation of the teachings of Mashiach. And that is, in the context which we said earlier, Kamayim Liyam Machasim. Deep down in that sea of knowledge, that is going to be what we are going to be privileged to be able to learn that Torah. And it's going to be never ending. The moment that we have one concept internalized, we're going to have an Ein Sof, an infinite, deeper level of godliness to understand and to internalize. And on forever, Ein Sof. There's no level. There's no limit. There's no limit on how deep we're going to be learning the teachings of the Torah. And so therefore, this is very important for us to be able to celebrate, to have a great insight into this special day. And hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow, during the Mashiach Suda, we'll be able to talk even more about, to share some stories, and to talk more about the anticipation which we need to have for the coming of Mashiach. So once again, we invite everyone to join us. Please spread the word. 5 o'clock will be Mincha, and 5:30 will be the Mashiach meal. And also in the morning, we're going to have davening at 9:30, and then the Torah reading, and then there will be Yizkor, and then there will be Musaf. And we look forward to having all of you join us. And of course, we really hope and pray that Mashiach's coming will be even before Achron Shel Pesach, even before Shvii Shel Pesach, where we will all be able to celebrate Achron Shel Pesach in the Beit HaMikdash. You see, if we call it the Mashiach Suda, can you imagine having a birthday party without the birthday person there? That doesn't make much sense. So if we want to have the Mashiach Suda, the Mashiach meal, so the most logical thing would be to celebrate the Mashiach meal together with Mashiach. Because if Mashiach is not there by the Mashiach meal, God forbid, it's like having a wedding without the bride. You can't have that. And so let's bless each other that we should be able to celebrate the coming of Mashiach even before Achron Shel Pesach. Toda Rabbah. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, a special Refuah Shalema for Yoshua Mordechai ben Fega. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you very much, Gershom and Rachel Dandy. All the best. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, and Chag Sameach.